Hello guys, I'm Reckon12 and I just came back from the cinema, so my memory is pretty fresh. We're gonna talk about Return to Silent Hill. I was really looking forward to this movie, but this might be the next Dragon Ball Evolution, I'll be honest. So let's get started. How does the movie start in the game? You instantly start at Silent Hill and at the park spot, I don't know, and then you look in the mirror and blah blah blah. In the movie, we see James drive his Mustang and smoke a joint. I don't know why he does that, but whatever. He almost drives into a fucking truck, dodges it, and then knocks over some suitcases which belong to Mary because she wanted to dip and get the fuck out of there, but she missed the bus because James just was smoking weed, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And for some reason, James is really a dipshit in this movie. You'll realize as this video continues, like he's not like James Sunderland from the movie game. He's a completely separate character. I can't even defend this guy. Like, I was really looking forward to this movie. I wasn't looking at the ratings. Right now it stands at, I think, 4.2, which doesn't deserve it. Deserves to get a lower rating, I'll be honest, like a 3. And this shit's horrible. It's so horrible. Basically, then he wakes up in some club. He's completely drunk, and his therapist calls him and is saying, yeah, James, go home, drink water, go to sleep, and then we'll meet tomorrow. James drinks some alcohol, and then he finds the letter, which doesn't start with, in my restless dreams, I see that town. No, it doesn't. It just says, yeah, let's meet at our special place, James. Wow. So it doesn't even have the most iconic line in arguably all of horror games. No, it just doesn't have that. It shouldn't. It doesn't need that. And James then drives to Silent Hill. He doesn't have any weapons. He meets Angela, who is completely weird, like doesn't want anything to do with James. He then goes into the city, sees some bum sleeping underneath a bridge or whatever that was, and the bum suddenly just wakes up. He's like, oh, you can't escape. James runs away, then one of those armless things appear and vomits all over the homeless man. Alright, and James takes the radio and he has some metal thing. I don't know where he got it from, but throws it at the armless creature and it dips. And James takes the metal bar and I think he loses it at some point. So he has like 3 metal bars in this movie. He doesn't have a gun. He doesn't have a shotgun. And I think you had grenades in the game, but I'm not sure. It's been like 4 months since I last touched the game, but he doesn't have any firearms or explosives. And definitely not a chainsaw. Well, then the military or something like that says, yeah, evacuate Silent Hill and whatever. And then suddenly, I mean, if you don't know, in Silent Hill there is this other world where everything is rusty and the enemies are different. And suddenly those cockroaches appear. And it's the same fucking thing from the old Silent Hill movie that was like, I think 2000 something, like before the 10s, I think. And suddenly cockroaches were everywhere, like swarms full of cockroaches. And he ran to the Woodside Hotel. And listen here, in the game, Woodside Hotel takes like, I think, 1.5 hours. James does it in 10 minutes. I'm not making this shit up. James enters Woodside Hotel, closes the door so the cockroaches don't eat him, and then he runs up, tweaks the fuck out because he's in front of a TV, sees some flashbacks, but we'll get to that later. Then he sees Eddie, and if you don't know, Eddie is one of the major characters in Silent Hill. Spoiler, he dies later on because you fight him. In the Silent Hill movie, let me just give you the situation. He's over the toilet, vomits for no reason because in the game he kills a guy and feels guilty for that and vomits. In the movie, he doesn't mention anything. Then James just hears a baby crying, and it's Laura. And in Silent Hill, there's this iconic scene where there are metal bars. On the other side is Pyramid Head standing there, and you're just looking at him. In the movie, there is Laura hidden in some closet, and James wants to save Laura, but Laura is being a bitch, and suddenly Pyramid Head just appears because, according to Eddie, you woke him up, whatever that means. Laura hides in the closet again, and James calls Eddie an asshole because of that. And then Eddie beats up James, and that's all his screen time. Afterwards, we don't see Eddie anymore. Like, he just dips and is like, yeah, I'm out of here. And the thing is, Pyramid Head doesn't stay behind bars. That motherfucker breaks right through. And we see James climbing to another level. You heard that right. Like, he goes to a balcony and climbs to the other level instead of, going through the hallways like in the game. No, he just climbs to the other level. And then some monster appears. Like, it's those armless things, but suddenly it has a head. It turns towards James, like does a whole 360, snaps off, and then it turns into a spider. James hides in a closet, and the spider thing is chasing James before he gets into the closet, and he hides in the closet. The monster doesn't know where it is, and then Pyramid Head enters the room, kills the spider thing, like beats it up, like let it. I'm not making that shit up. Oh, by the way, in the movie, Pyramid Head, who doesn't make any sounds other than the scratching because of his sword, is groaning like the whole time. And yeah, he opens the closet, finds James, wants to grab him, but then sirens go off, and he's suddenly at the part where Angela is in front of the mirror, and I don't even know what happened afterwards because it was so irrelevant. I was so bored in the movie. Angela says, "Get the fuck out of here." James does exactly that, just dips. Because I don't give a fuck about Angela, I guess. I think that's not the last time we see Angela. We see her later on. He meets Laura outside on the wall. That also happens in the game, but Laura is being a dipshit in the entire movie, doesn't give any hints, just runs away constantly, acts like one of the monsters, not like a child. And then Laura runs away, James runs after her, they go into a labyrinth, and Laura just vanishes. Like, in thin air. Like, whoosh, gone. And then James looks around, Maria appears, and Maria is so irrelevant in this movie. Like, really. She plays a big role in the game. In the movie, she doesn't. It's horrible, bro. Then they go to the Brookhaven Hospital. There are beds outside, like everywhere for some reason. They go into the hospital, and they realize that Mary was part of a cult, that her father started. And we'll get to that later because Maria listens to some voice message, I don't know, some tape recorder or something, and they interview Maria, who just came into town, by the way, because Maria is just James' imagination, like she was born from James' imagination. I don't know how that works, but sure, I mean, it's Silent Hill, shit happens. It says, yeah, there was a cult of people, and it was started by the father, whose name I forgot, because in the game he isn't mentioned at all. Then suddenly they go towards an elevator, and on the way they found those nurses, which in the game are really tanky. Like you could mag dump them with the fucking pistol, and they still come towards you and try to stab you. In the movie, they have porcelain heads, and James rips off a piece of a wheelchair to use, like, he just rips it off, like, with brute strength, I guess, and has a metal bar, and just beats up multiple nurses at once, like, boo, boo, boo. And Maria gets stabbed by one of the nurses, and then the elevator goes up. James leaves Maria there, and then he makes his way to Laura, who's also there. Laura, like in the game actually, locks James into a room, and then there's this hospital boss who is on the ceiling and comes down occasionally and grabs you. In the movie, it was some skeleton thing going into James' mouth with her hand, and then James suddenly wakes up in the normal world again, not on the other world, in the Brookhaven hospital with normal people. Even though the entire city is evacuated, the therapist is there, and James is restrained with like leather straps to the bed. And then the therapist is like, yeah, I have treated soldiers with PTSD, all kinds of traumas, but this guy, he loved his girlfriend too much, and it became his entire world or whatnot. Like, okay, cool. And James just says thank you for everything and dips into the other world. And now comes the craziest part. Maria wants to stop James because James previously promised, yeah, if I can't find Mary, we'll just go. James doesn't give a fuck about his promise anymore. He takes Maria, goes down with the elevator, like all the way down. They are in some labyrinth again. And James doesn't speak a single word for like 2 minutes. Looks like this the entire time, like really grim. And tweaks up. Here comes the best part. In the game, when Maria dies because of Pyramid Head, he was really sad, crying and whatnot. In the movie, he goes like, like he tweaks out, summons Pyramid Head, and Pyramid Head stabs Maria. And James says, you're standing my way. I don't need you. And Maria dies. Absolute peak writing, bro. What can I say? Like, they completely mischaracterize James by now. Then we see Laura again, and like James making his way to Toluca prison. No, not Toluca prison, Lakeview Hotel. He's there for 1 second, like he sits on a couch. Laura is there. James says, I'm not here to play games anymore. And now comes the plot twist of the century. Fucking Mary's full name is, wait, I'll read it. Mary Angela Laura Crane. Those are the 3 main characters in the game. Like, Angela plays a big role, Laura plays a big role, and Mary, obviously. But they gave Mary all three names. And she doesn't even have the name Sunderland, like the surname. Like, I was just ready to walk out of the cinema, but the movie went on like, I think, like 20 more minutes. I think. Then we see Angela in a bed, being restrained by her thighs by the bed, and it's Abstract Daddy, who's a big part of the game. Like, you go through a labyrinth, try to escape from him because you have no ammo, and it's really intense. In the movie, James touches the fucking head of, what was his name? Abstract Daddy. And it says, "I'm sorry, Mary." Even though that's not Mary, that's Angela, but whatever. I mean, she doesn't appear afterwards, like Eddie. And the daddy, just boom, explodes. Like, as if he just turned on a Killer Queen on his ass. And that concludes Angela's story. And Laura doesn't appear anymore. Then he goes to the rooftop, finds a bed with Mary on it. He has some flashback. It turns out his dad forced Mary into the cult, and they poison her every time she goes to the cult because she's literally forced to go there. And in the game, she's just sick. We don't know why, but in the movie, she gets poisoned by a cult. And James kills her with a towel because she just doesn't want to be alive anymore. Understandable. I wouldn't be wanting to be alive in this universe too, because the movie fucking sucks. Then he takes the corpse, goes into his car, which suddenly appears in front of the hospital, because he just teleports from Lakeview to hospital and is on the rooftop, and then he goes down and finds his car there, which shouldn't be there, and drives into the water, which is one canon ending, but he doesn't die there. He goes back to the beginning of the movie, and instead of going to Silent Hill with Mary, he actually drives her to the next town, and that's the end. I have a feeling that the creators of Silent Hill had no say in this fucking movie. Like, maybe the producers played through Silent Hill once, and that's really it. And they didn't give a fuck about the lore, because if you just watch one lore video on YouTube, I'll be honest, just one lore video, you would have made a better movie than this fucking trash. Like, I was looking forward to it, and it was a waste of my time. Like 2 hours, I think. Like, I rated 1 out of 10. That the characters don't look anything like the main characters in the game, like, at all. Everyone has a beard for some reason. The enemies are fucking wankers. James doesn't have any weapons and is a fucking dipshit. The characters don't have any depth, are just there to progress the story. Like, they don't really have dialogue. Like, Eddie, for example, he only appears once in Woodside Hotel or apartment, whatever. I don't suggest you to watch that movie. It is trash. It's a waste of my time. Guys, I hope I see you guys some other time. If you like the video, like, subscribe, share, ring the bell.